Hello everyone and welcome to the FPL Cougars show. I'm Chris.
I'm Kieran.
And today we are previewing Gameweek 12. In this show we'll be discussing each upcoming Gameweek fixture, predicting the potential key players, differentials and clean sheets. We also talk Captaincy, reveal our teams, plan transfers, the Cougar Cup picks, and we will also be answering some of your questions. Before we get into the show, we just want to take a moment to say if you haven't subscribed to us on the platform you're currently watching or listening to us on, then you should do that right now. Kieran and I will be previewing every game week this season, and it'd be great to have you along for the ride. That's the boring bit out of the way, Kieran. Let's talk about points, because you got 95 of them.
Yeah. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, finally a good week after last week was so depressing and down in the dumps. I felt like I've been owed this from the FPL gods. But yeah, 95 points this week, which was pretty big. It was a game week rank of 38k, which I think is my highest of the season so far. And obviously, if there's 7 million players of 38k rank in a week, you're obviously getting a big boost. So yeah, I went from 816k, which is obviously one of the worst ranks I've had this season, or overall rank anyway, up to 206k. So it got rid of my whole 600k drop last week and 10k plus on top of that. So good. Hopefully I can continue on now, but this week looks tough in general. But anyway, I had Captain Aguero finally paid off. I took the gamble of going with Aguero again.
You were worried,
obviously
weren't you?
he screwed me over the last couple of weeks, but yeah, I went there again, and he obviously did better than Sterling and other big captains this week. I started Lundstrom, started Sionku, both of them, and no jammy auto subs there, all skill. Ryan with 6 points as well, so he's obviously doing well again. I don't think he got any saves this week, but he's getting a clean sheet, so yeah, great.
Big at the back's back, isn't it, Kieran?
Maybe, or cheap big at the back.
Cheap big at the back.
Yeah, so Mane with last minute goals was decent. Abraham, and then transfer in, which was Vardy as well, continued to do well. Points all over the place. And the only disappointing thing was having Rico first sub instead of Tierney, because it could have pushed me over the 100 mark. So yeah, slight disappointment there, but obviously at 95 points, can't complain.
No, not at all. Especially you can't predict a clean sheet for Bournemouth at home against United when Arsenal got home against Wolves. You mentioned your transfer. You got Vardy in. What was the other one again? So you got Vardy in for Wilson. That was right, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I got rid of Callum Hudson-Odoi for Nakamba.
Okay.
Just to afford the Vardy upgrade.
Yeah, no, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it was a good week all round. I saw entry points and the Lundstrom points, big. I think that was more points between those two than your total from last week, I think. Because I was having a look at it. I think mine was 44, and I think yours was
mine was 32.
So yeah, there you go.
So yeah, amazing.
Yeah, that is good. All right, so I had a similar sort of game week. I got 73. I think it was like one of my highest sort of game week scores of the season, but didn't do very much to push me that far back up the rankings. I think before the auto subs kicked in, I was on about 500k, and I was loving it. I was like, oh, this is a real boost. And then clunk, and dropped like 200k places. But yeah, 73 points. I had Lundstrom as well. I captained Sterling. Ugh. So that didn't work out very well. He's now one game away from a suspension. Can you believe it? Raheem Sterling.
Yeah.
It's awful. Abraham picked me up points. Mane, Trent, and then my transfers this week. So I binned off Dean for O'Connell, which I don't think really was too different, because I think Dean ended up getting 6. But then I also binned off my other striker, which was Pookie, and I brought in Vardy, and obviously Vardy did return, and Pookie blanked yet again. So my transfers worked out all right, and I'm happy with Vardy, and I'm happy with O'Connell moving forward. Both have got great fixtures coming up, so yeah, it was all right. It was okay.
Yep, nice.
Should we talk about a manager that did hit over 100 points in game week 11? Who was this, Kieran?
Yeah. Okay, so it's Cheetos FC, Juno Sioju, from across the pond in America. 107 points played, 107 points with no chips played. A game week rank of 2008, which is obviously crazy good. Overall rank of 4.9k, up from 77k. 14th in the Cub League. So basically everyone returned other than KDB and Mount. So yeah, TAA and Robbo, Sionchu, Lundstrom, Mane captain, which was a big factor in the points. And then obviously Maddison, Abba and Vardy. And obviously Abba and Vardy was a sort of double up pairing that I wanted to have, like I was speaking about quite a lot. And I never ended going there, but he's obviously got it, or I guess maybe she, I'm not sure. But yeah, very, very good score. And yeah, can't complain with that. That's great.
That's really nice. I mean, looking at the team as well, it's so... I mean, obviously it's a high score anyway, but those are players in that team which you could see being good picks for sort of the next 4 to 6 game weeks easily. Like, there's no... I'd say there's no crazy differentials in there. They've all just like returned really well. So yeah, no, fair play. Really good score. It's also just a little update from the FPL Cougars mini league. Omar, who's been top for weeks now, slipped down to third. His team Barak
dethroned.
Yeah, he's down on 70. I say down on 701 points, as if that's like something to be sniffed at, but still amazing. And I think, is it Melanie Stevens who's taken over top spot? Yeah.
Chocolate Fingers with 706 points.
Yeah, that's really nice. So yeah, it's competitive at the top of the FPL Cougars mini league. I think it's 10 points separate the top 4. So yeah, it's pretty good. Keep an eye on that one as the season goes on. Kieran, who else do we need to talk about? Our Cub picks from last game week.
Oh yes. Okay, so I picked David Silva. Obviously, Southampton at home. I don't think anyone really expected Southampton to be 2-1 in that game. Or to put up such a good display. So yeah, 1 point. I think he got injured as well, and he came off at half time. Yeah, couldn't predict that.
No.
Shame.
That was really unlucky.
You had Mopai, as far as we remember anyway, and who had Norwich at home, and you got 2 points for that. So yeah, blank, but point up on me. But anyway, so total, I've got 24, you're on 28, and November, I'm on 1, you're on 2. So you've got a slight lead on the first week. We're obviously terrible at these differential picks, but yeah, hopefully this week's a bit better.
For anyone who's like listening now rather than watching, we put up like little pictures of Silva and Mopai, or each player we choose every week, and Mopai just looked like, his picture makes me think he should have got 50 points, like just chasing after the ball, looking excited, whereas David Silva's just looking like meh, I'm gonna go off a hard time. So if we were giving out points on pictures, Kieran, Mopai would double down on points this week. You would have won. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move on and talk about game week. Should we talk about game week 12? We probably.
I don't know. Should we?
We probably should. It's not the most exciting one to start on, but we've got that Friday night fixture between Norwich and Watford. So, Kieran, don't forget about locking your team in Friday evening.
Yeah, to be honest, I did forget. Well, I haven't forgot, but I didn't realise it was Friday.
Gosh.
So yeah, everyone else, make sure you know.
Total noob. Okay, what can you tell me about this? Because I always like a Friday night fixture, because I think it's like the end of the working week, and you get to sit down and you watch a game, and then you see it's Norwich against Watford, and you think, yeah. So yeah, okay,
keep it family friendly.
Anyway, so talk to me about this one. Norwich have just been so poor, haven't they? Another blank for them.
Yeah, they're so last 4 weeks they're decently in last place for team XG of 3.28. They've only scored 2 goals. So yeah, the Pookie party is definitely over. Yeah, they're just not scoring at all. They've only had 1 clean sheet in 11 weeks so far. They're conceding 2 or more in every game by their 1 clean sheet. So yeah, relegation form pretty much. And I don't know, unless they come out of this slump. But obviously they do look like a decent footballing side, but unless they're out this slump, then yeah, there is relegation on the cards, I'm afraid. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's just been so poor, isn't it? The drop off. We were really excited by them at the start of the season, and for a while, I think, well, me for sure. I don't know if you felt the same, but like the injury crisis made me think, oh gosh, they really are a better team than this crisis, or sort of put them in. And when they get players back, they'll be better. But players are coming back in like drips and drabs now, and just they're not improving. And there isn't really anything from even the underlying numbers that made me think, okay, it's going to turn around anytime soon. I think my biggest regret when it comes to Norwich, I think Pookie, fair enough, because he was showing a bit of form at the start of the season, and I did get 2 like Hawley returns from him. Ended up keeping him way too long, but Cantwell's been the one for me, which has been the biggest fluff on my part.
Yeah,
I think I got him in about game week 6 or 7, thinking he could be a decent 5th midfielder, And since then, I think I've played him once and he scored me 2 points. And I've actually transferred him out this week already, just because we can't even be sure about his starts at the moment. So when we do our end of season wrap up and we talk about some of the worst decisions of the season, I think actually bringing Cantwell into my team and just sitting on him for weeks is it's going to be up there for me.
Yeah, he's in my team still. He's definitely an issue going forward. He's already dropped in price once. Benched last week. Hernandez is back. I can see him continuing to be benched. So he's last on my bench for the time being. I think I need to roll this week, or maybe to be able to get him out for free, sort of thing. I don't want to take a hit to get him out, that's for sure. But yeah, he's probably going to continue to drop if he's not playing, and he hasn't returned since week 5. He's had 2, 2, 2, 3, 1, and 1. So for people that thought he could be a fourth midfielder / midfielder, he's definitely not that, is he?
No, not at all.
So yeah, party gone in Cantwell's camp as well. So yeah, but to be honest, this game is a game that Norwich obviously need to win, Watford need to win, so it could be high scoring, and whoever's on the pitch, if it is Cantwell / Pookie, they are gonna hope for returns in this one. So if you've got them, then possibly keep them for one last week, and then move on. I don't know, but yeah, obviously last Friday night game was the Leicester Southampton.
That's true.
9 goals. So, and Friday night games are usually quite fun.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they can be.
Obviously, neither of these can be defending, so yeah, hopefully it's all right.
Yeah, well, Norwich have, looking back at their stats, they've conceded at least 2 in 8 of their last 9 games. I think their only nil, or the only time they didn't concede 2 was that 0-0 against Bournemouth.
Don't get me started on that.
Yeah, so that was it's a poor run of form Norwich are on, but Watford similarly haven't really been very prolific in front of goals. They've only scored 2 in their last 6. Interestingly, that was the game last weekend, one against Chelsea, and they actually scored 1 away against Spurs. So they've done it against the bigger sides, but they've not really mucked in and picked up any goals in the teams in and around where they are. So I'm kind of a bit apprehensive it's going to be another sort of like ball score draw, like a 0-0 or a 1-1. I'm not really sure about thrashing in there, either of these. I actually think from Watford's point of view, this is like the start of like a good run of fixtures for them. They have Norwich, Burnley, Southampton. They've got a tough away game against Leicester and Crystal Palace. So for the first time I'd say this season, it feels like they've got 4 or 5 fixtures up ahead where they have got a chance of getting some points. But just due to how poor they've been, I mean, that game against Chelsea on Saturday night, there's just nothing in the team from Watford's point of view which gets me excited about them. Like, I thought Foster had a good game, and looking back at his stats, he's picked up 2 double-digit hauls, which were both 10 in his last 4 game weeks, and got max bonus. But I don't. From their outfield players, there's really no one who's sort of just getting me excited or thinking Watford are going to have a huge upturn in form, and this is the player you need to get.
Yeah, I agree. Foster's he's 5 mil this year, isn't he?
Yeah.
So I assume he's probably had a couple of drops, but can you see if they don't pick up some wins over the next 5? Then what's he called? Could be Sanchez Flores could be fired as well. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. Well, I think because he's been employed so early on in the season, it feels like it wouldn't be too unsurprising if the form doesn't pick up. They change him just because they've got time and fixtures. If it was a bit later in the season, they probably wouldn't. But in fact, we're only in Gameweek 12. If they haven't, let's say Norwich, Burnley, and Southampton in the next 3. Let's say they haven't picked up between 4 and 9 points, so a draw and a win, or 3 wins in that time. You'd think conceivably they've got to look for someone else, because if he's not going to pick up points in those 3 games against teams who they should normally expect to beat, where are they going to get them from?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, on the sort of striking side, Delafeu was the only one who looked half decent in that Chelsea game. He obviously won the penalty and scored it. He probably could have also had a penalty in that Tottenham game. Do you remember? He got fouled and it didn't get given. VAR just fluffed it. So yeah, he could be one, but it's his first goal of the season, and I don't know. I feel I can't really give my backing to a player that's had or been part of such a poor team.
He was fortunate to get that pen as well. I think. He was slightly touched, but the way he goes over is so ridiculous. yeah, I think Varsh makes the wrong decision there, personally, but whatever.
Have you got any more to add on either the players from those two teams, or should
No.
we forget about them?
Let's move on.
Do you want to do your prediction? Because you said it was going to be heavy goals.
Well, let's go for a 2-2 or 3-2 to Norwich or something.
Yeah, okay, all right. I'm going to say it's 1-1, Keeg.
Okay.
We've got a sexy fixture coming up Saturday lunchtime, though. Chelsea against Palace. I do quite like this one with my triple Chelsea locked in. Chelsea have...
Triple captain on Tammy, right?
Oh, God, no. Okay. Are you thinking about him as a captaincy option this week? Be serious with me.
I think he's got to be considered, hasn't he? Considering, obviously, Liverpool and City playing each other. Tammy's probably got one of the best fixtures out of the remaining candidates, I suppose, other than Vardy. Crystal Palace at home. Obviously, Tammy's home form has not been good, as you've had experience in captaining him at home. But yeah, he has to be, doesn't he? Because there isn't really many other options. It's Vardy or Tammy, or you go for one of the guys in the City Liverpool game. So I don't know. What do you think about him?
I think he's a good option this week. It's just like you said, I've been burnt twice by bad captaincy or returns for him in games where you'd expect him to do well. So I think it was the home game against Brighton and possibly the home game against Newcastle, both of which he had really good chances. And on the highlights, he looked really good. His stats were great, but yeah, he just failed to deliver. So 2 captaincy blanks has sort of like scorched the earth for me a little bit. And
to be honest, like we've said before, he needs lots of big chances to get like one goal.
Yeah.
And against Crystal Palace, you can't see him getting that many because they are strong defensively. So yeah, he might get a goal, but he looks. You can't really trust him with captain.
No.
To be honest, he's just awkward. But you still need to own him because he's nearly 50% most owned player in the game. And if he returns, then great. And you're probably not going to lose that much sort of ground if some people captain him anyway. So, yeah, I wouldn't be too worried. But, his stats against Watford last week were pretty good. You had 4 shots, 2 big chances, 1 key pass, 1 big chance created, an XG of 0.97. So, he was expected a goal and possibly assist.
Yeah.
His XA was 0.57, and that's what he got, a goal and assist. So yeah, I'm happy to still own him. I think last night in the Champions League, did he get 1 assist?
I think he did.
4-4 thriller with
right.
Ajax. He scored an own goal. He seems to be partial to an own goal, so hopefully that doesn't happen soon. And yeah, he's probably due a rest soon as well, but hopefully that's not this weekend.
Yeah, no. That's true, actually, you mentioned about the rest, because it's obviously Batshuayi does keep coming in to replace him in the Premier League. But until it actually swaps the other way around and Tammy gets benched for one, I wouldn't overthink that too much. Alonso had a tragic game, didn't he, in the Champions League last night? I think he got a yellow card quite early on, made a few rash tackles, kept giving the ball away, then he got subbed at half-time. I mean, Chelsea's fixtures are really nice for the next, I think it's 5 or 6 bar and away game to Man City. Do you think Emerson could be a bit of a differential over the coming game weeks?
Yeah, I do like him. He was first choice before his injury, wasn't he? And his stats going forward were always good, even though he never really sort of capitalised on those stats. But yeah, Alonso coming off at half time is obviously a good sign for Emerson. Obviously, Emerson didn't come on, but I think Emerson should be nailed in the Premier League. And I think is he like 5'3", something like that now? He's quite cheap. He's a possible someone for me to look at instead of Tierney, but maybe not over the next 2 because of Man City fixture. But after that, West Ham United at home, Aston Villa at home, Everton away, and Bournemouth at home. Those are great fixtures. And assuming he is nailed, then yeah, he could be getting some points. And Azpilicueta got nearly 2 goals yesterday. James got a goal, so obviously that their fullbacks are getting forward, and he'll be part of it because he looks great on. He's even gets some set pieces, doesn't he? So yeah, I like him.
Yeah. What do you think about? I mean, Mount's an interesting one for you and I because we both own him. He got an injury, another ankle one in the Champions League. So last time out, I think it was against Valencia. What we were talking about that he had that ankle injury, came off, and then miraculously he returned from what looked quite a bad one to play against Liverpool in the next game week. Lampard said after the game last night that they were going to monitor it day to day before the weekend. I mean, he's flagged now, so he could see quite a lot of transfers out because people don't, or some, I'd say the majority of the game don't really read into that and just look at flanks and think, oh God, he's a doubt, I need to get him out. Do you think it's worth holding if you can, if you've got no other options elsewhere? I mean, if you are reluctant, you think, oh, Mount's not been in such great form recently, and there's a lot of other options doing well, and that has just tipped me over the edge to think about other players. Is there anyone sort of you'd recommend or in the radar? Because, I mean, like, I'm sure you've looked at it as well, like, well, there's teams with different fixtures in there. Pulisic obviously coming into form for Chelsea a little bit. Is Mount the best midfield option to have there? Or is it time to have a look somewhere else?
To be honest, I haven't looked that much about getting rid of him, but I think you could do if you bought him late, and someone like, if you can get the funds for sort of Maddison, something like that, could be good, or Tielemans possibly. But I don't know if the options around him are that good to take him out for 1 week because he's got the international break after this. Yeah, he hasn't been that great, but he is on set pieces. He is pretty much nailed in the Premier League. So, yeah, I'm undecided what I'm going to do with him. Yeah, sorry, that's all I can.
That's
really
all
give
right. That's fair enough.
What are you doing?
Well, I think I've got to hold him, and luckily my bench now is full of Sheffield United defenders and Aston Villa midfielders. So I've got O'Connell first up, so they're going to keep a clean sheet away at Spurs, and I got Nakambia away at Wolves, who's going to score a few goals. So even if Mount doesn't play, one of those two is going to come in. What I'm trying to say, Kieran, is if he's injured for 1 game week, I don't really mind too much because I think the international break's coming up soon.
And I don't think it looked that serious either. And there's been word that he is apparently okay. Yeah. Not like they haven't said it's like really bad or anything. So, if we see some, I don't know, training pictures or something and possible, press conference and Lampard says it's all right, then he started last time. I don't see why he can't this time. It's just an ankle roll. Like, it's probably not that bad.
Yeah. On the Palace side of things, their defence has really gone to shambles since Martin Kelly's been out of the lineup. They've conceded 2 goals in the last 3 games, which coincides really their tough fixtures, which we could see coming up. And that, like I say, Kelly's been dropped out of the side. Their fixtures still don't really get any easier. They've obviously got Chelsea away, Liverpool at home, 2 of the top 3 most attacking sides in the league. And got an away trip to Burnley, but then the fixtures do start to turn then because they've got Bournemouth and Watford in a 4 and 5 game weeks time respectively. I actually had a look to see if anyone was interested in Palace players because I haven't really been interested in them this season. So the most transfers in this week in Crystal Palace. Do you want to try and guess who that might be?
Not sure.
No, okay.
Millie?
No,
maybe?
It's not Millie. No, I would think it would be someone who's actually returned quite well recently, but it's actually Ayew even. I nearly said Ayew. Andre Ayew has been transferred in by 18,000 people, so not many, not huge at all, but that's 3 times more than Will Zaha, and I wonder if it was for budget reasons, just to see what people were up to, but it's really not. He's actually done okay in the last sort of 4 or 5 game weeks, despite not ripping up any trees. He's averaged more shots per 90 minutes, that's 2.4 than Zaha, and more shots in the box, 1.86 in Zaha as well, and effectively that's more than any other Palace player. So he is their sort of danger man going forward. I thought he was quiet against Leicester, but he's actually putting up some decent numbers for a player who's only, I think he's down at 5 million, around that sort of mark right now. He scored an average of 5.5 points per 90 minutes in the last 4, thanks for 2 goals in that time and 5 bonus points. So I actually thought, the reason that he came up as well as me looking into the Palace striking options is, like I say, their fixtures do get quite good. I'm still sat on Mason Greenwood, and I'm changing my team around a little bit, and I sort of feel like Cantwell's not really a player I'd play every week anymore, and perhaps I'd switch to a 3-4-3, my bad. And I could come into my squad as a third striking option. What do you see any sense in that, or?
No,
but
he's
really.
cheap.
Kieran, he's cheap and he's got some good numbers, and they've got good fixtures.
He's crap.
God.
Just get Connolly instead. He's cheaper and he's got better. I don't know. Well, not fixtures, but he just looks like he's in a better team, and he's just no go for me. Sorry.
I spent so long trying to construct like a waffly argument there to like bring in and you've just like
he's just crap, isn't he? Like he's just
Okay.
like he gets the occasional goal, but like he's he's like a slightly better Benteke.
I remember having in my team a couple of seasons ago when he scored for Swansea, and it was like the best against Arsenal, and it was like the best game week ever. Because when you've got a pick who you're not even pleased with, and he can return for you, it's like Christmas. It's amazing.
Yeah, I remember getting him after that game, and he just blanked.
Typical trying to get on a bandwagon. I was already riding high on. Right then, so I've got nothing really for the rest of the Palace team because none of them are inspiring me at the moment, and the defence isn't doing it. The strikers don't really look at it. I don't know what's going on with Zaha. He's now the most. He's had the most shots in the Premier League without scoring. I think he took over from someone who scored last game week. You're going to know because I've forgotten.
Probably Maddison.
No,
maybe
it wasn't Maddison. Anyway, I'm sure someone in the comments, but yeah. Basically, Zaha, most shots, no goals this season. So when is he going to start scoring again? And I want some points from Wilf.
Next two, probably not. I mean, after that, possibly. Not sure.
Okay. All right. Exactly. I'm sure the words that Roy Hodgson is telling Steve Parish right now. Not sure when Wilf's going to start scoring. Right then, let's talk about Burnley against West Ham. 3 o'clock game, live from Turf Moor. Do you want to try and sell me a player? Just say, who should I get in my team for Burnley's next run of 3 good fixtures?
I mean, the only person I've got down here is Barnes. I think he could start being good again. I mean, he's down to like 3.9% ownership. I think he was something like 15% back in the day when the Barnes train was the thing.
Yeah.
But he's missed.
Good times.
Yeah, he's missed like quite literally like by whiskers in the last few weeks. So some tap-ins that have just kind of gone over his head, or he's just not been able to like reach. But yeah, his stats have been okay over the last 4 weeks, and I fancy against West Ham, he looked crap at the moment. He could finally get back to form, and their fixtures are not bad over the next 3. So Barnes' stats have been 9 shots these last 4 weeks. 9 shots, 1 on target, 8 in the box. So he's shooting in the right area, but obviously 1 on target's not great. 4 big chances, 1 key pass, 0 BCC, big chance created, an XG of 1.39. The issue is he's -9 on bonus points, baseline bonus, which is
because he loves a scrap, Kieran. He loves getting a yellow.
Well, I guess it's all the off-target shots, to be honest.
Yeah, that as well.
But yeah, I think he could finally come back into our thoughts, possibly this week.
I think about it's Dwight McNeil as well, who looks quite appetizing. Oh, Dwight McNeil, appetizing. Who looks quite interesting for me. Like he's done okay. I mean, he's priced at 6 million. He's not budged. He's less than 1% owned. We put up a differential video on the FPL Cougars YouTube channel earlier this week, and he's one of my picks for the next 4 game weeks because they look good. And I think he's sort of the mainstay in the team, whereas Barnes and Wood sort of been rotating between them who's getting points recently. I think McNeil could be the one to look for. I can see from your expression you're not keen on Dwight McNeil, Kieran.
I just don't trust the 6 million Burnley mid when there's someone like Daniel James United, or there's other players around that price point which I think I would prefer.
Yeah. All right, personally. Yeah, that's fair enough. So why do you think West Ham have been so poop recently? I think it might be because of their new goalkeeper. Because they basically had 5 games now without a win. Coincidentally, that was when Roberto came into the side. They conceded 10 goals in that time, which is the 3rd worst in the league. And last season at Burnley, they got whomped as well. I say whomped. They lost 2-0, and it was Wood and McNeil who scored that day. I don't really see them getting a lot out of this game either. Their form's bad. They don't look very confident. I think Sheffield United I think they played them who did they play? They played Newcastle. And they couldn't break them down until late in the game. And I feel like it's going to be another sort of similar performance from Burnley. Going to sit back and just try and soak it up and hit them on the break and do a classic Burnley performance. I think Haller's one of interest really. 25k have had enough of him this week. I would assume that's people still moving on to Vardy and Abraham. But he's actually ticking over not too badly. I think if he was maybe 0.5 or a million cheaper, people would be sticking by him. But he's had 3 returns in the last 5 game weeks. That's 4.3 points per 90 minutes. In that time, I wanted to compare him to a similar price player to see how he's getting on. So in that time, last 4, average per 90 minutes, he's had 2.2 shots in the box. Jimenez, by comparison, has had 2.25, so barely any difference. Haller's had 1.6 key passes per game, and Jimenez has had 1.4. So for a player who is very similar in price. I think Jimenez is 7.3 now and Haller's 7.2. There isn't actually a lot in between them. We have seen quite a lot of the market move from Haller recently, but yeah, I think he's doing okay still.
I think Haller probably has better pieces around him, to be honest, than Jimmy does. So, differential coming up, and their fixtures aren't terrible. Well, I don't know, maybe they are actually, but this Burnley away game looks okay, and then Tottenham, Chelsea away, Wolves away, Arsenal at home. Those four are pretty tough, aren't they? Actually, but yeah, after that, possibly we can get back on him. I enjoyed owning him when I had him. And yeah, I like watching him as a player. He's a little bit, I don't know, kind of Van Nistelrooy-esque, just like always just sort of in the box but doesn't do that much else. He kind of seems to flatter to deceive kind of player. But interested to own him down the line.
Yeah,
sure.
No, I think if you still got him, don't be too worried by Vardy and Abraham, because I think he's one of those players where, like I say, he's recording points and he's consistent. As soon as he has a game where he notches like a double, either a goal and assist or 2 assists, or whatever, I think people are going to start thinking, okay, well, Haller is actually doing it. So I don't think he's a bad pick at the moment, despite those fixtures. I just wanted to also mention Yarmolenko. So again, like many of the other West Ham players, people are just selling him en masse at the moment. Subbed at half time. Do you know if that was like an injury related thing? No,
I'm not sure.
No, I think it's maybe just tactical. But he's had 1 attack and return in the last 4, and the fixtures were really good too. So Palace, Everton, Sheffield United, and Newcastle. And I just feel like moving forward, when they've got Tottenham, Chelsea, like we say, Wolves and Arsenal coming up, there's better options at that price. Potentially Trossard, McGinn, Grealish, Daniel James, even McNeil, your favourite Burnley player. So I wonder if Yarmolenko might have sort of outstayed his welcome in many teams, and there are better players out there who are performing better.
He's streaky, isn't he? Yeah. And if his stats aren't matching it, then move on.
Yeah. Do you want to mention Nick Pope? And because I can't bring myself to talk about how few points
coughing fit.
It's all right. Oh, I'll keep talking.
I'm ready. Okay, so he's not really being the sort of set and forget keeper that everyone thought he would be. He's had 1, 7, 1, 1, and 2 in his last 5, which is 12 points, compared to someone like Matt Ryan, same sort of price at 4, 7, 3, 4, and 6, who's always getting save bonus, always getting pass bonus as well, and 24 points compared. So he's doubled Pope's outcome of points over the last 5 weeks, and so Pope with these fixtures coming up, hopefully going to do better. A couple.
He better do. I tell you that he better do.
But yeah, I don't know if there's going to be that many saves in these games. I think you're going to be hoping for clean sheets. So, I don't know. Are you getting itchy feet on him?
Not really, but I had thought, though, these 3 fixtures now are prime for him to pick up points. I'd expect at least 2 clean sheets in these next 3. Yeah. And if Pope doesn't come sort of back out of these fixtures with 10 to 14 points, I'm really going to consider it, because if he's not going to keep clean sheets in the easy games, even though I said I wouldn't change goalkeeper, you can see already there's like a huge difference building up after 12 game weeks that he's slipping behind other goalkeepers. He's not picking up the save points you'd expect him to make, and they're not keeping as many clean sheets. So it's
probably one of my better decisions on wildcard of not going to Pope, because it was the worry of just everyone owning Pope, and I didn't, and I kept with Ryan, and it's paid off massively. So. But if you don't have to, then don't transfer him out. But I can't see a clean sheet this week. Maybe the 2 afterwards.
Yeah, the back of my mind, I'm just thinking. Remember what happened last season with messing around with goalkeepers?
Exactly.
So I don't really want to get too much into that. Mm-hmm. Newcastle, Kieran, entertaining Bournemouth.
Yeah, the attack finally came alive. We've got something to talk about for Newcastle. Could have been 6-0. To be honest, they looked that good going forward in at least the first half. They had a 2.61 xG for that game. Third behind only City and Chelsea with 12 shots, 3 big chances, 3 goals, 8 key passes, 4 big chances created. So obviously they could have had more. But the hauls weren't exactly from people you'd expect. Sort of like the Joe Linton's up there. He actually did basically nothing. He got an assist, but his stats were actually
classic
pretty
Joe
awful.
Linton, isn't it?
Yeah, he had one shot, an XG of 0.01, one key pass, an XA of 0.04. So I don't know how he manages to get an assist from an XA of 0.04.
Chill out, Joel.
But yeah, eye test was kind of passed. I think he looked okay. But expected him to be on the end of the crosses instead of the centre backs. So yeah, he's probably not the striker that everyone expected when Newcastle bought him. But yeah, one player I am very much considering now is Willems. I think we've definitely mentioned him quite a few times, but we haven't been sort of like serious in buying him. No. And I'm certainly looking at him now with him. He's the 15th highest scoring defender, which
not
for
bad, is it?
A Newcastle team who we say are pretty bad, he's doing well. He's never scored lower than 2 points when he started. Since week 5, he's had 7, 6, 12, 2, 2, and 8.
That is good,
so
isn't it?
for a 4.5 defender at Newcastle, that's really good. And compare that to Tierney, who's $1 million more expensive, who's got blanks every time I've had him or played him. Seems like a bit of a no-brainer, and they've only got Man City in the next what did you say it was like up until game week 22 or something?
It was like that. Yeah.
So I mean, why the hell not? Like,
how would you play him every week though, or would he just be like a bench option?
No, I'd probably play him at home.
Okay.
When they have a good fixture. Away from home, he'd be a bench player.
So you would have missed out on his 8 points this last game week, and then you would have been livid, wouldn't you?
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got attacking threat. He gets assists. He gets in the box. What's not to like? He's going so under the radar. 1.4%.
Yeah. Why don't you bring him in this game week, Kieran?
Well, I think I
Look
want
at
to
Tierney,
roll
first
more
bench.
Importantly, but
Look at
yeah,
Tierney,
no.
First bench,
Against
Tierney.
Leicester.
I actually had to change the preview. People might notice about 2 games ago I subtly updated the graphics because it's Kieran's last team. So if you looked at it and think, oh my god, that's last week's data, wrong, I've changed it. Anyway, you've got Tierney first bench, Kieran.
Yeah, because Leicester are going to score loads in that game. Well, maybe not loads, but I just don't trust him that much anymore. Maybe I will make the move. But then again, I wouldn't know who to. If I got Willems, I wouldn't know who to play instead of him.
Aguero.
Or bench instead of him.
Definitely Aguero.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Bournemouth side of things, surely the most informed team in the league defensively. That's 3 back-to-back clean sheets now. Considering they didn't get any before that this season, is kind of strange. I also think it's going to be like a low-scoring game. This one. There's been under 2.5 goals scored in Newcastle's last 5 home games. But their attack has sort of dried up as well, which I think is probably due in part to why their defence has been so good. They've only scored 1 goal in the last 4. That was Josh King against United last game week. And having a look at their sort of like heat map and their average formation, it looked like Bournemouth were playing a 4-2-4 as well in the game against United. So the fact they're not scoring many goals is quite a surprise really. Rico has really benefited from this wing-back role. He's got 19 points in his last 3. He's had 4 shots in that time, 3 key passes. His XG and XA aren't particularly high, but you'd sort of expect that for a defender. But as 4.3 million, 14% I think have selected him now. I think he's...
Have you got him starting this week?
I've got him started this... Yeah. I've got him starting this week.
It's going to be this week that he doesn't keep the clean sheet.
Yeah. There's no way.
So as soon as he's starting, then he doesn't keep it.
There's absolutely no way Bournemouth can keep 4 clean sheets in a row.
Yeah.
But the appeal of 4 clean sheets in a row in a Rico haul is high. It's high. Wilson's gone off the ball a bit, right? So much so that he's only had 5 shots in the last 4 games, and he's had 1 more than Harry Kane in that time. So that sort of shows how far they've both fallen. Like Paul says, Kane has missed a game, to be fair. But he's had 2 big chances and created 2 big chances in the last 4. 0 goals, 0 assists. I was trying to find like a player who I was more surprised at doing a bit better than him, and I found one. So in the last 4 games, he's had 3 shots in the box, which is 1 fewer than Mousse's had, and Mousse has played half the minutes Callum Wilson has. Kieran, people are fed up with Wilson.
Yeah, I was expecting him to haul when I got rid of him because he is the classic FPL troll, but yeah, I got rid of him happily for Vardy, and glad I did because he looks pile of poop as well.
He's gone off the boil completely, hasn't he? Mm-hmm. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. No, they had the fixtures to do massively well in these games, and so there is no rhyme or reason to this, really.
No, it's really strange.
All their key players are playing. There's just, I don't know.
As a non-owner of Wilson at the start of the season, it was really annoying watching him get fluky goals and assists given for like fouls and whatnot. So perhaps that wasn't sustainable because that's where a lot of his
just
points have come.
out.
Yeah, now it's evening out over the course of the season. So I'm sure when they play, look at their fixtures. They've got Newcastle away, Wolves home, Tottenham, Palace and Liverpool. I'm sure in that Tottenham, Palace and Liverpool game, he's going to haul massively in each of those 3 games. And we'll be saying, oh, typical Wilson again. Huge troll. Okay, Saints against Everton. Wasn't it nice that Saints didn't get battered this week? I feel pleased for them.
Yeah, a little bit of a comeback, I suppose, after going 1-0 up. We thought upset on the cards maybe, but no, I didn't expect them to do so well against City. I don't know, just maybe a turning round point of their season. They still lost the game, but they played well. So yeah, their upcoming fixtures are actually pretty good. Everton at home is obviously kind of tough, but Everton are struggling as well. Arsenal away is obviously tough-ish, and then Watford at home, Norwich at home, so Newcastle away, and then West Ham. So 4 of the next 6 are at home. Their XG is 3.72. They've only scored 3, so that's about bang on. The XGC is 11.23, which is second to last, but obviously they conceded 16. A lot of that comes from that Leicester game. So take away those 9 goals, their XGC is not too bad, to be honest. Ings, I think, is still someone possibly to consider. I think you mentioned him last week. 9th for strikers at XG in the last 4 weeks of 1.91. 7th for shots for strikers of 11. He's doing the right thing still. With a decent set of fixtures coming up, he could be an option still going forward. Yeah,
I really like him. I feel like he seems to be getting more minutes as well, which is always like the question mark. Is he going to be taken off a bit early because of his like recent sort of injury woes in the past couple of seasons? But he's played nearly 90 minutes in the last 3 or 4 fixtures, apart from that 9-0 where they had to shift the team around. So yeah, bodes well. Like you said, the fixtures are good. I'd say even that Arsenal away game, Ings could be and get something there, because I don't think Arsenal's defensive record has been particularly good at home this season. So yeah, I think he's an option.
Yeah, another one I've got here is Ward-Prowse. Obviously got the goal against City. He's 5.8 million, dropped to 0.2, 0.7% owned, so massive differential. But yeah, I think he's going to be one that kind of flies under the radar. He's at that sort of price point where Mount / James / McNeil, all those sort of Trossard players are. Yeah. And with the fixtures coming up, I think he could do well. He's never returned less than 2 points when he's played. He's played every single minute of the Premier League so far. Last 4 weeks, he's had 6 shots, 1 big chance, an XG of 0.94. 5 key passes, an XA of 0.33. So that's not bad. Yeah. Considering Ings's striker XG is 1.91. His is only just below. So yeah, you bring him in and he gets a free kick or something like that, and poach his goal like he did last week. And yeah, if he does anything at 0.7%, then big rises.
Do you remember at the back end of last season he went on that really hot run of like maybe 4 or 5 game weeks where he was like scoring or assisting in each one? And I wonder if he's like one of those players where once he sort of gets one, he's going to follow it up with more returns. And perhaps this run of fixtures could be ripe for him.
Is he a mount out for James Ward-Prowse?
That's a huge differential, but maybe not for me, Kieran. Yeah, maybe he'd be a 5th midfielder, but yeah, I'm not sure he could displace Mount for me.
Sure.
Everton, upcoming fixtures, decent next 2 with this Southampton game. I mean, I say that. They've not won away from home all season, so that doesn't bode well. They've got Norwich at Goodison after that, and they go away to Leicester, away to Liverpool, Chelsea. So I can maybe see 1 win in the next 5 games for them. It's that Norwich home game. So I haven't actually got a lot of encouragement or good things to say about their fantasy assets moving forward because the fixtures are so tough and their form's been a bit leaky. But Southampton have conceded at least 3 goals in their last 3 home games, so there could be some action in the Saints goal mouth for Everton to take advantage of. Saints won the fixture in January. Dean scored an own goal, so every time he's sort of going to the South Coast recently, he's knocking him in his own net. He is actually doing really well from a sort of underlying stats point of view. for Everton, but they just haven't sort of transpired into actual points. So he had 3 key passes against Spurs, and he created 1 big chance, which led to the assist. He's had 13 points in his last 4, which included that -1. His expected points was actually a lot higher though, so he had expected points of 21. So he is doing well. He's still having creating those key passes and creating those chances for people that's not being put away. So I had a look at how that compared to other defenders, thinking, 13 points in the last 4 isn't bad, but actually that was actually really awful. So there's 31 better defenders than him in the last 4. But interestingly, another very highly owned player, Trent Alexander-Arnold, has only scored 13 points in the last 4 as well. So Dean's matched Trent, which I thought was very interesting in the last 4. Some choice names that have outperformed him in that time. Cathcart's got 16 points. Kieran Clark's got 15 points. And your boy from just a minute ago, Willems, has nearly doubled what both Trent and Dean have got with 25. So
let's get on that Willems train. Let's get it rolling. Bloody hell. 25
compared to Trent and
he's
Dean.
The new TAA.
So we need to get rid of Trent and we need to get on Willems. Okay?
Yeah.
That's what I've learned.
That's the advice for this week.
Okay, done. I think
because Trent's blanking this week, right? So and Willems getting a
must be getting a haul up against Bournemouth. From an attacking point of view, then, because Saints do like conceding goals, it could be Richarlison who does the damage, but I'm not really that sold on any of the Everton attackers. No. We did talk on the show last week about how, because there were so many assets in this one Man City Liverpool match, it might be a game week to take a bit of a gamble, and Richarlison still could be with this game against Southampton and a home game against Norwich coming up, but he's had 8 shots in the box in the last 4. That's the most of any Everton player, but no big chances and an XG of 0.85, so it's not great. It's not great.
If City at home struggle to score 2 goals against the Saints, Everton away are going to have no chance.
That's true.
So just nah.
I like it. That's some good analysis. Yeah. Right, we'll take that. Spurs are playing our favourite team, John Lundstrom and co. I think this is a 3:00 game on Saturday. Do we want to just say thank you to John Lundstrom personally? Because I'm sure he's watching. Thank you, John.
Yeah, cheers, mate. You're a legend.
Yeah, he is good. So 21 points from a 4 million defender. He's now up to 4.8. I think, for me, he surpassed anything that Wan-Bissaka did last year.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He had 5 shots against Burnley, 1 big chance, and... he missed 1 big chance, so he could have had the hat-trick. 1 key pass. He's had 212k transfers in this week. I was thinking, who still doesn't own him, man? He's up to nearly 40%. Top scoring defender now by 14 points. More total points than Salah and Sterling, which is just incredible, isn't it? Incredible.
Has he already risen once? He might get a double rise. He might get a double
rise, yeah, which wouldn't surprise me. There was a really good stat from Stat on Scout, which was Lundstrom against Burnley got 2 more points than the following combined. So Sterling against Brighton, Norwich, Wolves, Southampton, Salah against Chelsea, Sheffield United, Wilson against Norwich, and Aguero against Villa. So all those players' returns didn't match the 21 points that JL got this weekend. So yeah, pretty massive. It's funny, when I set my team out on Saturday morning after the deadline passed, Lundstrom was first bench, but by about 5:00 he was starting and nearly captain. So things changed quite a bit.
I mean, as much as people seem to think that, Lundstrom, away to Tottenham is just like, you're going to bench him. Like, no, you're not. Like, don't be silly. Yeah. He's he just looks great. Why could they not keep a clean sheet against a struggling Spurs?
I know. And they can. Well, also, yes, Spurs. We think that Kane and Son are going to be back in, don't we? Because Son's red card got overturned, and Kane had a virus, which we expect him to get over. But I mean, I think Sheffield United are undefeated in the last 5 Premier League games away from home, so I think they've got a good chance of doing something here.
Have you got both starting?
No, I've just got Lundstrom at the moment.
Sure. No, I think that makes sense. Yeah, I think there's a good chance of a clean sheet here. And depending how Spurs play tonight, a tough away game in the Champions League. I think it was Liverpool went to Red Star Belgrade last year and lost. Yeah. So if Spurs manage to lose tonight, then they're not going to go into this with very much confidence. And yeah, we've seen what Sheffield United can do defensively and possibly offensively with Lundstrom, because his finishes weren't exactly lucky. No. They were good goals.
They were good goals.
So yeah, Spurs, their team XG, right, ready for this, 3.45 of the last 4 weeks, 3 goals, which is 19th of all
Wow.
teams. So yeah, I mean their XG is 7.21 with 7 conceded. It just shows the unpredictable season that Spurs are having at the moment. Because 19th for Spurs,
That's
like
poor,
a
isn't it?
Champions League finalist last year. Like what the hell? And obviously Son with that red card, yeah, he's going to be available to play, but is he going to play? Is he going to be in the right mind? Witnessing that leg break, which is obviously horrible. I know players have had rehab for that sort of thing, that sort of mental health sort of thing. I don't know. See if Son plays tonight, I suppose. What do you think about Son going ahead?
Yeah, well, it was interesting. I think you and I probably listened to the same thing, but Schmeichel had counselling. This is Peter Schmeichel, not the Casper, after seeing a leg break when he was in his younger career. And Son was obviously really upset about it. So it makes you wonder how that will affect sort of his mental approach to the game, because he's going to be second-guessing every tackle and every sort of tackle he goes in for and every tackle he makes. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he plays tonight. I would expect he will, to be honest, just because they're not in a great run of form and they need to qualify for the Champions League and they need their best players to play. Your mic is still on mute from when you coughed, I can tell.
Oh,
You're
sorry.
back.
Hello.
Hey.
Okay. So I had a look at Son versus Pepe from 9.5-ish sort of price range from the last 4 weeks. So it's 7 versus 6 shots. Son's first. So this big chance is 1 versus 1. An XG of 0.6 versus 0.5. Key pass is 1 versus 6. Pepe was 6, which is quite a big difference there. Big chances created 1 versus 0. An XA of 0.61 for Son versus 0.29 of Pepe. And assists 2 versus 1 and points 10 versus 10. So to be honest, neither of them are performing very well. 10 points for 9.5 over 4 weeks is terrible. So I think this bracket looks pretty dead in the water at the moment. 9.5, stay away. Try and get up to KDB or just go down to the Madison sort of area, because there's nothing in the 8 range either, is there? So
it's a shame.
So yeah, I think just move on from them, to be honest. Even though Spurs fixtures are really good, we don't know how Son's going to look. And I think possibly Kane coming back in could be worth a shout, actually. At 10.8 million, 15% owned. Like, could you imagine that for Kane? So I'm kind of looking at him. If he does anything tonight, instead of Aguero,
they do have some good fixtures, to be fair. But Kieran,
they have really good
just refer
fixtures.
back to that stat you told me at the top about their XG for the last 4 game weeks, or however it was. 19th out of 20.
It's true.
Eriksen's got his head in the sand. He wants to leave Spurs, isn't he? He's been playing so poor. Yep. Dele Alli's handballing the ball all the time. I don't know. There's nothing good going on there. Why don't you get Mousse instead? Can I say your Mousse from Sheffield United?
Instead of Ayew, maybe.
No, God. He actually is similar price. He's 4.9. So I was having a look at stats around him again. I mean, this is probably so uninteresting to like 75% of our viewers, because we don't want a budget third striker, Chris, who might play. Well, guess what? I'm going to tell you about them. So he played well against Burnley. He's got 3 assists in that game alone. I think the first of his assists was amazing. It was like if he meant that pass, I was like,
he did.
If he meant it though, it was good.
Sure.
He's actually featured now in every game since game week 4, and he's had 6 attacking returns in that time. So that's actually not a bad return, really, for 4.9 million.
Sure.
1.5% owned. If you compare him to like a 4.9 million, I suppose, defender, Lundstrom is probably the closest. So Lundstrom's outperforming him, but from a attacking point of view, that's a good return at a fairly sort of minimal price, really. So yeah,
you'd be loving that.
I would be literally loving it. Now then, Saturday Night Football is another team we're all literally loving at the moment, and that's the Jamie Vardy house party conglomerate with all his friends, Maddison, Tielemans, Perez. Who do you reckon is the best dancer out of that lot, actually? Talking about a Jamie Vardy house party. Who do you reckon's got, of the Leicester
I reckon
team?
Perez has got some moves, or maybe Tielemans. He's probably a little dark horse.
What about Soyuncu?
He's probably got some dad moves.
Yeah, he probably has, actually.
He screams as sort of a dad dancer.
I'm trying to think who would actually have the moves. I reckon Maddison would like really fancy himself, but and he's like,
or Chilwell. Actually, he's probably like a moonwalker.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say Maddison's got the robot, and then they both come in sort of like popping it, and it'd just be awful. Anyway, what do you reckon their expected? What stat be expected? Expected robot stats. Anyway, let's not get into that. Talk to me more sensibly about Leicester, please.
Right. Sionku, obviously, great great goal, nice header.
was a good
I think
header.
he's only scored one goal in his career. I'm not sure if that's correct. But yeah, I've just got lad written down here in red writing. So yeah, obviously I started him. A lot of people benched him last week. Yeah, I think I'll probably play him this week. Obviously
Definitely
Arsenal
play him.
can score, but I can see a clean sheet actually. I don't know. Ozil, Lacazette, Aubameyang, can they get through this defense?
Ozil's never going to play. Emery hates him.
Well, he's played last week.
Yeah, but that was lucky. I don't know.
But yeah, that Leicester's XGC is 6.35 and they've conceded 3. So they're either overperforming and getting a bit lucky or just doing really well. So I don't know. There's probably going to be a high XGC in this game, but I'm hoping and banking on a clean sheet because Sionku's in there. But I think we're not going to expect a goal here. Not going to expect an assist. I think it's probably 6 points ceiling. Yeah. Do you think he could get that? What do you reckon?
I'd play him for sure. Yeah, I just feel like Arsenal can go through. They're going through the motions at the moment. I just feel like they're on the verge of like a meltdown every week at the minute, especially with this Xhaka captaincy. Like they've taken it off him now, haven't they? Officially.
Yeah, officially.
Yes, I mean it just feels like, and all the talk, it's sort of simmering in the background about Mourinho speaking to. I don't know if it was the owner, maybe it was like the technical director or something like that, and meeting him for lunch and whatnot. So I don't know. There's a lot of stuff under the surface, and that does have an effect on what happens on the pitch for sure. And I feel like this Leicester could go second potentially if they win this, and then
big game.
Yeah, Liverpool lose. So it's a huge game for them this weekend, and it's like a televised evening fixture.
I mean, there's the history has been there's loads of goals in this game, right, from both sides. So clean sheet. I don't know. Maybe we're thinking. I don't know, with our FPL heads that we really want Zionku to get that clean sheet, but in reality, is that going to happen? Probably not, to be honest. So yeah, Vardy, he's had 15 goals in 17 under Rodgers. I'm not sure if that's correct, but I think that's what I heard. 10 goals, top of the Premier League on line for the Golden Boot, possibly. I mean, what's your excuse not to own him now? Like, he's top goal scorer, like 28.2% owned. He's becoming less of a differential every single week now. I guess he's hard to fit in some team structures, but I think you need to get on him now because he's still got great fixtures. So yeah, I'm happy to own. Glad he hasn't trolled me for once.
Yeah.
And I expecting a goal or two here, to be honest.
And they got 4 home games in the next 6, and they're only 2 away games at Brighton and at Aston Villa. So they're looking really good. And he's like you say, he's just so clinical. Like that game against Palace was a really boring watch. And Vardy didn't have he had that one chance in the first half, looked totally isolated in the second half, didn't really have much played into him. And all of a sudden, with like 5-10 minutes to go, however long it was, he just pops up, clinical finish, and nice 6 points, easy.
Surprised he doesn't get bonus, because whenever he scores, he usually gets bonus.
I was surprised about that as well. Considering obviously Soyuncu got the winning goal bonus, but then also got the yellow card. I thought it might shift around a little bit, but no, fair play. Vardy's looking good. On the Arsenal side of things, probably the player who is going to trouble the clean sheet the most is Aubameyang. So he's been an excellent form away from home this season. So he's averaged 7 points per away game so far this season. He's now up to 8 goals for the season. And long-term thinking for Arsenal, after this game, they do have some continued great fixtures. They've got Southampton, Norwich, Brighton, West Ham. They're a really good run there. Maybe if you were going to have a replacement for Aguero. You're talking about going to Kane a minute ago. I'm assuming that would be Aguero to Kane. But Aguero to Aubameyang, finally, Kieran, something you've been trying to do all of last season and most of this is to get on Aubameyang.
I mean, their fixtures are not that great anymore, I suppose. I mean, after Leicester, okay, right. The next 4 after Leicester are decent, I suppose. But Arsenal, like you said, have got meltdown written all over them every week. So I don't know. Aubameyang hasn't been scoring massively. He's not been hauling. I probably think there's better options that I can do, or I suppose spend my money elsewhere. Better options and spread the funds.
That makes sense.
Yeah, not for me at the moment, but yeah, if you have him, don't sell him.
Yeah.
For sure.
On an unrelated FPL note, who do you think is going to take over the captaincy there?
Aubameyang's been given it.
Aubameyang's actually been given it now, is he?
Yeah.
That's a strange
I'm not sure if it's permanent, but he has got it for now.
Do Arsenal know that just by giving? Okay, all right, that's interesting. Okay.
I wouldn't have gone.
No, I thought they might give it to Guendouzi. All right, that's news to me. Tierney, then let's talk about him because you've had him, and he obviously received a bit of transfer interest when he started playing again. He's on your bench this game week. Arsenal have kept 1 clean sheet in their last 5. Obviously, he's not played in all of them. How long are you going to keep him for, man? Is he going to stay in your team long term? I mean, they do have the good fixtures.
No, not long term. Yeah, maybe I keep him still just because of those fixtures afterwards. But yeah, he's waiting to be upgraded to someone like Robertson. It's just if I can get the funds, or if not Robertson, then someone like Emerson. I like because I don't have the triple Chelsea anymore. But yeah, it's just me whether I decide to go with the double Liverpool attack or bring in Robertson sort of thing. And yeah, Tierney is basically ready to go at any point, to be honest. I don't trust him anymore. I liked him. He seems to be getting taken off in some games. Their defense is shambles. So even with good fixtures, can I see them getting clean sheets? Probably not. I thought with them, I thought Bellerin would come back by now. I thought with those two coming into the team would sort of help fix some of their defensive issues. You know, they've got 3 defensive mids in most games. I mean, it's just like, I don't know why they can't keep clean sheets. I don't know, it's just bad vibes in that club.
Nah, I agree. I just think it's one to monitor. But for me, I'd probably think about getting rid of him. I'd probably at least give him until that Norwich game in 2 or 3 game weeks time. But yeah, one to keep an eye on for sure. Should we talk about the games on Sunday? Starting with Man United against Brighton. You're back in love with Rashford, aren't you?
No, not really.
After their blank.
Yeah, okay. So, all right. So he's 6th for strikers XG of the last 4 weeks for a 2.04. But I mean, he kind of passes the eye test only with Martial in the squad. Up top alone doesn't really work. But yeah, I'm not really convinced United are going to score at all over the next few weeks. He'll probably get 1, but I don't think he's worth owning as much right now. A 1-0 at home or a 1-0 defeat at home to was it at home? I think it was, right?
Which game are you talking about? Sorry,
last week.
Bournemouth. They were away at Bournemouth. Yeah.
Oh, wait. Okay, so yeah, 1-0 defeat to Bournemouth is shocking. And yeah, I just can't trust any of their players. Maybe James is worth looking at, but and maybe Martial as well. But you can't trust them. I don't think any of them are straightforward. Maybe last year you would have thought, yeah, they look great for these runs when Ollie came in, but not now. I'm worried for his job. I'm worried for United. I'm worried for a lots of things here. So, yeah.
Do you think they've actually got a good? I mean, I feel like Brighton have got a good chance of getting something here. I think there is some crazy stat. They haven't won in like 60 odd years at Old Trafford, and their away records just generally recently has been a poor. So going back to last season, they've only won 33 of their last 37 Premier League away games. But to be honest, based on how Brighton have been playing, they're quite compact. They've beaten some big teams already this season. Well, beaten Spurs at home. Their players look lively. Mapai, Trossard, Conley. I feel like they're going to cause United some problems. And yeah,
I think it's a Brian clean sheet waiting to happen.
Wouldn't surprise me.
And yeah, if Trossard doesn't start, I think if Trossard comes on late with a tired defence, I think Trossard could be a hero again here.
Yeah, he's looking great. So 5.8 million he is now. 1 goal and assist in that half an hour. He's on the set pieces. So in the games he's actually started or played in so far, he's averaged 5.2 points per appearance. So that's even more incredible when you look at his minutes, because that's only about 3.5 games worth. So to average 5.2 points in 3.5 games is really quite impressive numbers there. So obviously that would sort of dilute a little bit the more games he plays. They have got some tricky fixtures, generally speaking. They've got Leicester at home at the Amex after they sent away at Liverpool, and Arsenal home against Wolves. So it's not like they're playing teams in and around them. But if they were, I'd be all over Trossard. I really like him. Earlier in the season, where I was going to get him in, and he picked up that injury. I think it was around game week 5, maybe. So I went off him. But yeah, I think he's looking like he's really a good pick at the minute.
I mean, United are in around them at the moment, so
it's true.
There's a team for them to beat. Leicester at home. I don't know. I think Leicester could maybe struggle in that game because they are good defensively. So I like Brighton. And yeah, after their fixtures clear up, then as long as Trossard doesn't get injured, then I like him too, and he may be a fourth midfielder. Instead of Mount if he is out for a while.
I'm just going to double check, but I do think Brighton are actually above United. They are in the table. Yeah, they've got 15 points. United got 13. So yeah, in fact, it probably should be an easy away win for Brighton. I just wanted to mention. I mean, we talked about Ryan very briefly earlier, but just his numbers are so impressive for a goalkeeper. So he's not scored fewer than 3 in his last 6 game weeks, which, I mean, you'd take that for any position on the pitch, wouldn't you? I mean, that's top form. If one of your defenders was scoring like 3 minimum last 6, you'd be well happy. So you must be well happy. Any more to add on this one?
Martial's looked okay recently. In the last 2 weeks that he's started, he's had 4 key passes, 4 big chances. His XG was 2.30 over the last 2 weeks, but that's mainly because of penalty. But he has the sort of potential to be doing well. It kind of lends to him having 4 big chances, but we usually think he's really clinical, and he just hasn't been with those. He's only got 1 goal. If he can start, living up to his potential, then he's worth it. But this Brighton game we say is going to be difficult. Sheffield United away is obviously going to be difficult. And then Villa, kind of team that can beat United quite easily, I think. And then Tottenham at home and then Man City, and then Everton.
We're so pessimistic, aren't we? All these teams are going to beat us. There was that stat, wasn't there, that Solskjaer's lost more, the same amount of games as Klopp's lost in, what was it, maybe like 5 times less games or something like that.
I think it was like Klopp had 150 odd games, and then to get this many losses or something, and then Solskjaer had 50 games and he's got 50 losses.
Yeah. Can I say that's a disgrace? It feels like a disgrace, doesn't it?
It's not great.
Okay, sort of the middling game. The game which is probably like the least interesting of the 3 Sunday games, but it's Wolves against Villa. It's still going to be interesting to a lot of people. Mainly Jimenez, John McGinn and Jack Grealish owners, I'd probably suggest, Kieran. Jimenez's fixtures look really good, starting now for the next 5. Do you see potential in your team? Could Aguero get downgraded as far as Jimenez?
Possibly, but I don't know if it's this week that would happen. I do like him a lot. His fixtures are that good, and his form is really good too. So 10, 7, 2 and 9 in the last 4 weeks. That's great. For 7.2 million, 11.9% owned. You take that every week for sure. And with the fixtures coming up, why not? He has the ability, and he was so good last year. Like him. What do you think of him?
I like him a lot too. I think he's looking really good. Again, he was another spoiler feature in our differential video this week. And but like you say, his ownership is creeping up slightly. So he's sort of, I think once he approaches sort of like 15%, he's not really considered one. But his stats are looking good. He has at the start of the season, you and I were the same in thinking that Jota had sort of like performed similar to him, and that would sort of continue. Whereas really this season, Jimenez has basically put his hand in Jota's face and said, "Back off, mate. I'm like the main point scorer on the forward line for Wolves. I can do it myself." And he has, and he's played really well. So I think his numbers are good from just generally. I did say last week that his expected goals numbers weren't particularly high, and he went and sort of rubbed that in my face by scoring against Arsenal. So I think he's a good pick. He's a bit like Vardy in that sense, where he's not going to have tons and tons of chances, but he's clinical.
Is it Imia Kulkarni asked if Jimenez is essential? I mean, as we've said before, no one's essential, but if you can get him in your team, say if you're upgrading Pookie or something like that, if you still got him, then Jimenez is well worth it, I think. Yeah,
definitely. No, I think Vardy, Abraham are sort of like the 3 prime in-form strikers at the moment, so having a combination of those 3 in your team is where you should be. On the Villa side of things, it was interesting that the much transferred out ahead of game week 11, John McGinn did register an assist for them. I think he dropped in price to 5.8. He's now owned by 11.4, so he's still I don't know, still a little bit of a differential there. That's 3 goals and 2 assists for the season for him now. It looked like he was still playing his normal game against Poole, so he had 3 penalty area touches. His average for the season is about 3.1, so it's like hardly any difference. So he's on track there. But I feel like because Grealish was out, he was able to get a little bit further forward. And we'd sort of seen before that Grealish had been given a more advanced role, and McGinn had sort of taken a bit of a backseat, and his returns had dried up. So I think for me, this game week is one to monitor for how those two sort of play when they're back together again. I do think Villa's run is a bit meh at the moment, because I'd say only Newcastle at home. The game week after this one is their next decent fixture. I mean, that may be the United away game as well, hitting them on the break in the next 5. But I think once their fixtures sort of tidy up a little bit, I do think McGinn and Grealish offer really, really good value in that midfield.
Game week 17 is Sheffield United at home, or away, sorry, Southampton at home, Norwich home, Watford away, and then Burnley away. So that run of 5 is from 17 is fantastic.
That's not bad. And it's not like either, because of their price points, you need to plan too much to get them in your team, and it's not like you need surgery. Like you can have a placeholder or person in your team, like a Mount, like a 6 million midfielder like Yarmolenko, and then you're just 1 or 2 moves away from getting them in. Yep. The big one, Kieran. Should we talk about the big one?
Yeah,
we love big ones. Okay, right. It's Liverpool against Man City. Should we do a prediction first and then talk about it, or do you want to talk about it first and do a prediction?
Let's predict.
Okay.
I think it's going to be I think there'll be goals. I don't think either of them can defend very well this year. So Liverpool at home, probably slightly favoured. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 Liverpool.
2-1 Liverpool.
So three goals. I think that seems.
Yeah,
right.
I think I've sort of changed my tune on it after this most recent game week. I think Liverpool are going to win. I think it's going to be a bit more comfortable. I think it's going to be 3-1. I do think they're going to concede, but I feel like it's going to be a good showing from them. And I am considering a little bit the Mane captaincy, a little bit.
Yeah. I'm even considering an Aguero captaincy.
That would be ballsy.
Apparently, Aguero who's never scored at Anfield, but everyone, I keep saying to people, that's in the past. Like that's the past, and the future is still to be written. And he could obviously score. He's got the ability. I need to see if he's starting tonight, if at the Champions League, and then Aguero will probably stay in my team. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm sure I'm going to captain him, but Aguero loves big games. I think he scored against them at the Etihad last year. See how City perform tonight in the Champions League. If they look on fire, then it could go either way this game. I'm expecting a few goals because Liverpool have kept one clean sheet so far. They conceded to Genk last night. I mean, if Genk can score at Anfield, Man City can.
Well, it was interesting. I noted that the bookies actually have City down as more likely to keep a clean sheet than Liverpool. I
think that's kind of fair. Liverpool's defence attack has not actually been that great. They've only blown away one team this year, a 4-1 win in the first week against Norwich. Though they've had 2 3-1s in their other games, and the rest have been 1-0s or 2-1s. So, I mean, their XG as a team is 10.65, but they only scored 7 goals. Mane gets lots of chances, but he misses lots of big chances too. And then Salah looks rusty and slightly injured.
He does,
And Firmino is off his sort of form of streakiness. So I don't know. 3-1 to Liverpool. Your prediction? I don't know. Does that seem?
Yeah, no. I feel like
now?
it's one of those situations where once the crowd gets going at Anfield, and and Liverpool's pressing, and we saw it against Spurs, didn't we? I mean, they although they didn't score lots of goals in that game, they were just relentless. And I feel like if they get an early goal against City, considering as well how much is on the line in this game in terms of points for the league, I think they're going to be going hell of a lever to. Yeah, score at least a couple in this game, and I wouldn't be surprised if they get 3.
How many are they ahead? 5 points?
I think it might maybe 5 or 6. I was having a look at the table a minute ago, so I can bring it back up. But...
Okay, so even if they lose,
they're still
it's
top.
Not a huge deal, but would they maybe play a bit more defensively to make sure that they don't lose? They at least draw.
I don't know. They're 6 points. I think the allure of going like 9 points clear after, what would it be, 12 game weeks, which is like nearly just under a third of the season, would be pretty huge.
Yeah.
So, I think that could be the thing. I thought it was interesting Liverpool have probably got the mental victory on their side as well, because Man City have only beaten them once in the last 6 games, which was that, and that's in all competitions. And that was at the Etihad last, sort of around Christmas time, which was one of the best Premier League games I think I've ever seen. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So let's talk about a little bit of the players. So Sterling, like we said at the top of the show, he's 1 booking away from suspension now. He looked good to a degree against Southampton, so He's had the most touches in the opposition's penalty area amongst midfielders for the third week running now. That's 22. So that was 11 more than the second highest. So he's getting in the right positions. He had 1 shot off target against Southampton, 3 key passes. But he's just shown a bit of lack of consistency, which makes him a real pickle for a captaincy, really. His record against Poole isn't great either, so he's not scored, and he's had just 1 assist in 7 games against them. So really, really, poor numbers there. And he's actually been bettered by David Silva in the last 4. In the last 5 even. So he started the last 5 and he's averaged 5.2 points per game. David Silva, by comparison, started the last 5. He's averaged 7.6 points per game. And I just feel like there's a few question marks over Sterling in his price at the moment. Maddison as well at 6.9 points per game over the last 5. So there's like you said a minute ago, there's no players really in that 9 million bracket who are performing well, but just beneath that in the 7s, really, people are doing well.
I think if you're getting rid of Sterling, I think a lot of people are. Personally, I think that's too soon, but you're going to have to go down to 7 and spread the cash elsewhere, right? And that's going to be difficult to get him back. And we know he's capable of being a massive point scorer, and he'll probably go and get all of his goals and assists tonight in the Champions League, won't he? Just because that's what he seems to have been doing, getting lots of stuff in other competitions. But I think it's rash to start getting rid of him, to be honest. I still think he'll be top point scorer. And he obviously has the ability to do it in these tough games. People are looking at double Poole attack instead and selling Sterling for someone like Salah, which, I can see that, but I think we need to see Poole battering some teams as well. Aguero, on the Aguero side, I think he got a hat-trick against Chelsea next year, the next opponent up for Man City. So people who are selling him as well because of tough fixtures, I think you need to be looking at that again, possibly as well. So I think you can't say that Man City have got tough fixtures and can't score against anyone, because they can beat anyone. So selling your big assets is like I said, rash. And there's nowhere really to go with them in the premium brackets, because there isn't that many premiums anymore, and spreading funds is always a risk.
We had a question actually about the premiums and downgrading them. So Jack Pulis sent in and said he wants to downgrade Aguero, and he wants to bring in potentially Kane, Vardy or Aubameyang, and he's unsure whether to go for one of those or a differential. And I suppose that sort of brings us on to a bit of a wider question about Aguero's minutes and game time. So looking back at his points, so he's actually doing really well when he starts. So he's averaged 5.7 points per game in the last 4. Thing is, he's only actually started 2 of the last 5 Premier League games. I mean, you own him. When you hear a stat like that, do you get itchy sort of like feet quick and think, well, if I can't rely on him for the starts, but I can rely on him for the points, is it worth me definitely downgrading him too, like you said, Kane, Vardy or Aubameyang?
A definite worry. But we need to see if he starts tonight. I think he's still the main man for the big games, in my opinion. There's big games coming. Liverpool at home, I think he plays that. Liverpool away, sorry. Then I think he'll play the Chelsea game because of his history, and he's gonna score in that, I reckon. I'm not saying I'm definitely moving him on yet. I'm still tempted to keep him because he is that good. And before these sort of run of games where he wasn't starting, he was starting them all. And obviously Jesus was slightly injured. I don't think it's too early to count him out. But if you are definitely wanting to go Kane, Vardy or Abba, I think you need to get Vardy in. But if you don't already have him, obviously, and then out of Kane and Abba, probably Abba for the next 4 after Leicester. I think they're probably better. So Vardy would be my number 1 choice, just because of their fixtures are so good and they're so informed. So
I agree. I like Vardy a lot, Kieran. I like him a lot. Okay, so anything else we want to add on the Man City side? On the Liverpool side of things? I feel like we covered Man City quite well.
Yeah, I think Mane's been sort of consistently inconsistent still. So he's getting 12, 2, 5 and 12 in the last 4, which is obviously good, but he's getting a 2 and a 5, which you don't want to see. Obviously, well worth earning. He's a hard man to trust with captaincy, but if you get it right, he'll haul for you. He was benched in the Champions League last night, which was obviously just a rest, I think, against Genk. So the guy's probably nailed in the Premier League and arguably taking over as their most important player.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, an XG of 2.47, which is first for mids. XA of 1.38, which is fourth for mids. Joint fourth for shots of 11. First for big chances of 5, but he's only scored 2 of them. So if he can become more clinical, then must own, possible essential player. And probably the first time since Salah joined the Premier League that he's been owned by more players than Salah. So Salah possibly a small differential. If you own both, then fantastic, because Salah doesn't seem to be getting well, obviously he came off last week early, but he doesn't seem to be getting any rest. This ankle issue isn't as bad as we thought, because he played last night. So I'm tempted to get both of them next week. Differential coming up with their great run. So.
I just don't think Salah looked quite on it though in the game against Villa and then last night in the Champions League. So I do wonder if.
But we know.
Yeah, we know what he can do.
We know
but I just wonder if that ankle injury sort of like playing on his mental a little bit, and that he's not going full throttle with it. It does seem a bit unusual.
I agree.
Yeah, so one to look out there. All right. So we predicted it, didn't we? We did the whole thing. Kieran, we've just done a show.
I mean, a long show.
I can't believe it as well. And I had a headache, everyone. And look, I'm fine now somehow.
FPL
exactly. Sometimes I don't make any sense and I question it. But anyway, okay, we're going to wrap it up, aren't we?
Yep. Let's do cub picks and everything else.
Picks. I've not even thought about them, and it's my pick first, isn't it? Oh my gosh! No, you go first, and give me time to think about one.
Right. I don't think I'm having him this week, so Jimenez in my team at least. So I'm going to go Jimenez 11.9% Villa home.
Oh, I like that. So. Okay, I'm going to go for Daniel Ings of Southampton up against the leaky Everton who never win.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I think I might have even picked Daniel Ings before, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I think
he'll do me this week.
I think you picked him in the Southampton, the Leicester game.
I did, didn't I? Oh, okay. This is his game for redemption then. Yep. All right. What else do we need to talk about? Transfer.
Captain?
Oh, yeah. Okay, captain. Well, you're on Aguero, Kieran, you madman.
For now, it's Vardy, Tammy, or Aguero for me. Those three choices.
I've got it on Vardy at the moment because I kind of like the idea of watching that Saturday night game. I've got the Vice on Mane, but I could easily change. I do quite like the idea of watching Mane in the big one on Saturday. I do think his form's been good. So, yeah, I think it's been one of those two. I can't do Abraham, Kieran. He's burnt me twice. I can't go back there.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair.
So that would irritate me. Clean sheets for this week?
I've got Sheffield United as a possible one. Chelsea, I think, will probably get one. Newcastle, possibly.
Yeah.
My boy Willems, and maybe Leicester are my 4 possible
You
choices.
picked 4. That's like nearly half of the teams. All right, playing at home this week. I think Burnley. I'm only going to pick one, Kieran. Nick Pope's got to redeem me.
No, yeah,
he
sure.
needs to. West Ham's form's been so bad. If he doesn't, then they're going to have to let him. Don't know, do something. On my bench. Transfers.
I'm probably rolling, I think. Otherwise, it's a Mount possible out, Aguero possible out, and a Tierney possible out. And I haven't decided on those 3 guys. But probably roll it.
Probably roll it. Well, you'll let people know, won't you, on our Twitter feed at FPL Cougars if you're not already following us. And you can check out Kieran's moves there. I've already done my transfer because Cantwell was dropping in price. And I'm doing. Kieran still doesn't know my differential because I'm going to save it for next week's show, my big reveal. But I'm getting a differential in next week, and to fund it, Nakambia had to be brought in for Cantwell. So lots to reveal next week, but we'll keep it on the DL until then because for all I know, he'll get injured this week and he won't play. All right, I think that's everything, isn't it? We got any fun games to play today? Kieran, I like our fun games.
Next week.
All right, got an hour and 23 minutes. Guys, we love FPL content, don't we? We do. Right, okay, so until next week, have a great game week. It's goodbye and good luck from me.
Cheers and good luck, everyone.
Bye, everyone.